Hello, it's Greg Grizzled and Gaijin. We're back. We hope you're having a happy day wherever you're listening to this audio content from. As always, I'd like to thank you for your continued support of Greg Grizzled and Gaijin social media and writing efforts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is episode 029 of the Greg Grizzled and Gaijin, definitely not a podcast show. A light and fluffy look at social media, Japan, Japanese food, expat life, and life in general. As always, your retweets of this and all the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful content that we actively tweet and retweet on Craig Hoffman11 on Twitter is appreciated. Thank you in advance for helping us get the good word out about Greg Grizzled and Gaijin. Another good show today, I hope. Today we're talking about surviving the holidays. I generally don't do holiday-themed content for my blog or this not a podcast. The first reason is that I cycle through everything, and so this post comes up in the middle of July, and that's a little embarrassing. But sometimes it is worth taking a moment. So I'll use this in the general context of surviving homesickness in Japan. And I'll relate it to the upcoming holidays. Some people, when they come to Japan or they live abroad, one supposes as an expat, homesickness sets in quickly. That's true, especially I think in non-English speaking countries like Japan. No matter what I can tell you good and bad about Japan, it was tough in the beginning. I didn't speak any Japanese. I often joke I knew sushi, samurai, and geisha. And that was really about it. I had come from Midwest America and never really traveled. I've written before, my first airplane flight ever was my first flight to Japan almost 14 years ago. I came in April, which is a little unusual for some of the English teaching jobs. A lot of people come at the end of August, or rather the end of July and early August on the JET program, for example. And so they're coming when school is kind of down and there's some time to travel and meet people and do things. And they have a network with that. I came on a different program, a Sister Cities program, where I was an assistant language teacher and a cultural relations kind of person. And my network was only the foreigners who lived in my area. Now, April is the start of the Japanese school year. So quickly, they're busy, I'm busy. And I didn't really have time to get homesick. Golden Week came and all of those foreigners had made travel plans. And I spent like 4 or 5 days alone in the neighborhood. Now, I got out with my phrase book to my credit. I went to a variety of shops and I rented some videos from the local video store, and I had a really good time alone. Summer vacation came and that was a bit harder my first year. Again, all of the expats in my area were traveling. Some of them went back to their home countries to see their family. I was intent on saving money. I have written before that my financial situation when I came here in 2005 was not very good. So I didn't really have travel plans. I didn't go anywhere or do anything. And so end of August to almost September, I was basically alone. And I didn't really care. I was an older foreigner. I came to Japan at 29, so I was 30. And I found stuff to do. Fast forward to that first Christmas. Now, suddenly, I felt a little down about not being home. I had spent every Christmas in my entire life with my beloved mother and family. And so suddenly I'm in Japan. I had no Christmas tree, no one to really spend Christmas with. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time, and I didn't really want one, but it's the holidays and that's what people do. And so all of my expat friends, again, some of them traveled, some of them went home to see their families, but I did not. And I stayed in my little town. And unlike the previous holidays of Golden Week and summer vacation, nearly every shop in my little town was closed. My bar was closed, so I couldn't go there. All the restaurants were closed. The McDonald's stayed open. The internet cafe that I used for internet that first almost year and a half, because I couldn't get internet, and there's a good not a podcast show too, was closed. So now I have no contact really with my family beyond the phone. And of course people are busy, so getting them at home on the phone is difficult. And now it's just me and walking around, and it got cold, of course, and I'm walking around or biking around. I rented like every 1980s action flick I could find. I went to Kobe a couple of times. There's some nice events there. I went to Osaka. But then the new year came, and all of even my Japanese friends were busy with their families, and I was alone. And that was pretty hard. I could tell you that it didn't bother me, but it bothered me. I think I went to Lawson's. They had a nice little heated section of food, and I got a little chicken. And I bought some beer, of course, and some other drinks. I think I bought something even harder. And my first New Year's in Japan was in my house, little house that it was, watching a VHS version of the movie The Matrix with my little convenience store reheated chicken, some rice that I put in my rice cooker, and however many drinks I had with me that night. But of course, the New Year came, and that was good. And my friends came back, and we had sushi on New Year's Days. Somebody wrote my phone and said, hey, let's go to Sushi Roll, a popular conveyor belt sushi place here in Japan. And I got back into the swing of things. The next year, I got smart, and I made plans early with foreigners who didn't go home, and there were a few. And I made plans for myself to get out and do things. I had events planned nearly every day that I was free from work. And I was much happier. So I guess the first piece of advice to overcoming, quote, homesickness, end quote, or being, quote, lonely or not lonely. I had a great friend who's now a well-regarded political science professor who said, only lonely people get lonely. And I chose after that first difficult Christmas and New Year's to not be one of the, quote, lonely people, end quote. And I was happy. I found an event in my local town at a little bar, a little countdown party. I was the only foreigner there. And surprisingly, I was very, very popular. It's important to fill your life with things. It doesn't take a lot of money. I remember a lot of the next Golden Week, for example, my second year, I went to a local park and I bought a little bento lunch, and I had a little plastic sheet, and I just looked at the nature and watched the people playing down by a local river in that town. It was great. I walked to my school and I watched a lot of the practices that were still going on despite it being the holidays. It was great. Of course, later I became a gray grizzled Gaijin, and I got married and had responsibilities here. And I was thinking about this as this holiday approached. My wife and those I care about are out of the house at the moment. And a little loneliness sets in. I really, outside of my job, my social media writing, my wife and those I care about, I don't have a lot of social friends anymore. And I could lie and say, well, golly, I'm super popular, but I don't think there's any foreigner I could call right now to go out and have a beer this afternoon, for example. And I wonder if that's good, right? You know, here I am, 43. I'm pretty popular on social media. People like my ideas and opinions. I'm an excellent husband and more to people that need me to be that. I'm an excellent educator. I'm a highly motivated person. But at the end of a day, on a weekend afternoon, I'm talking to myself on my Not a Podcast show. But I realize that in some ways it's a good lesson in learning to fill your life with more than people. And I fill my life with a life of learning and adventure and giving to other people by speaking to them directly about life. You're only lonely and down during the holidays or really any time if you choose to be. So today, as the holidays are approaching for you, or if there's a moment in your day or in your week when you feel alone, stop that thought. Take a breath and push that negativity out of your being and let a positive vibe that you are a person who's living and exploring in a big, big world, and that should keep your mind and heart busy all day long. That's it, and have a great, great day.